Hi, my name is Jennifer Murray, and I'm pleased today to introduce you to the work of Marie Aude Murail. Murail is an author of children's books, but that wasn't always so. Born in 1954 in Le Havre, France, Murail's mother was a journalist, her father a poet. Two of her siblings also write books, and one is a musical composer. Murail herself began writing when she was only 12 years old. She went on to study literature at Sorbonne University in Paris, France, where her thesis focused on the adaptation of classical novels into books that young children could and would read. Interestingly, Murail began her writing career by publishing short stories for women's magazines. Her first two novels were also written for adults. In 1986, however, Marie Aude Murail decided to devote her talent specifically to writing for children. Murail has accomplished much since then. She has written over 100 books, and her work has been translated into 27 different languages. She was nominated for the Hans Christian Andersen Award in 1996 and in 1998. She was a finalist for that award in the writing category in 2014. Murail has received many awards over the past 30 years, the most important so far being the National Order of the Legion of Honor, which is the highest order of merit, both military and civilian, in all of France. But the most exciting news has just been released. In 2022, Marie Aude Murail was announced as the winner for the Hans Christian Andersen Award for the writing category. The Hans Christian Andersen Award is awarded every other year by IBI, which is the International Board on Books for Young People. The criteria is threefold. One, the aesthetic and literary quality as well as the freshness and innovation of each nominee's work is considered. Two, the ability of the author or the illustrator to see the child's point of view and to stretch their curiosity is considered. And three, the continuing relevance of the works to children and young people is considered. The award is based on the author or the illustrator's entire body of work. In this presentation, I hope to show you all the reasons that Marie Aude Murail meets these qualifications. Marie Aude Murail has worked tirelessly for decades, perfecting her craft. She's written and rewritten her own works for reprint because she acknowledges that she has grown as a writer and as a person. Murail believes it's important to meet both her translators and her readers. She also realizes the importance of meeting with non-readers. She often visits schools, and she has collaborated with teachers to write a reading course book. She has even joined teachers in their trainings and professional development. Her writing is diverse, not only because she has grown as a writer, but because she has come to know the diversity of her readers. Murail has shown her writing skill by expertly writing books of different genres, by developing a variety of different character types, and by artfully weaving more mature subject matter into books for children. Murail is known for her ability to write about difficult topics in a way that readers can still laugh and have a good time while learning about them, in a way that children can understand without being overwhelmed by the more complex issues of life. As previously stated, Murail's work has been translated into 27 different languages. This chart illustrates how many of her books have been translated into each language. We can see that only 8 books have been translated into English, while 29 have been translated into Spanish, 28 into Italian, 25 into German, and 13 have been translated into Korean. These are her books that have been translated into English. 2 of them are reprints. I was excited to learn more about Marie Aude Murail and to read her 8 translated books. Obtaining her books, unfortunately, was not as easy as I'd hoped. Out of the 48 North Carolina counties that I can loan books from through NC Cardinal, there were only 2 books available by Murail. One of those, Un Domingo con los Dinosaurios, was only available in Spanish. The book that I was able to get from my library in English is called Santa's Last Present. Marie Aude Murail actually wrote this with her sister. This is a great story about growing up. There's a little boy who's probably too old to believe in Santa, so he just asks his parents for a video game console. On Christmas morning, he gets that, but there's another present under the tree, and nobody knows where it came from. He opens it, and he loves it. It's a gift from Santa. He ends up playing with that toy more than he plays with his video game console. The next year, however, on Christmas Eve, he writes Santa a letter letting him know that he probably shouldn't believe in him and be getting toys from him anymore, and he leaves that original gift under the tree. The next morning, however, Santa has brought him even more toys to play with that go along with that original toy. I was able to find the book Gollum through the Amazon UK website. I was actually able to find two books from there, but then one order got canceled. But I was able to read this book and I really enjoyed it. It's a book that's realistic in the sense that there's a teacher and his students, and there's the everyday classroom scene, but pretty unrealistic and fantasy based when one of the teachers and one of the children in the class start playing a game that seems to come to life. This book was really interesting and really fun to read. It's the first in this series, and unfortunately, none of the other books have been translated into English. So I'm hoping that that will happen soon. Marie Aude Murail has written for several magazines, including J'aime lire, which is where the character of this book first appeared. It's also her first female main character. If you have a chance to watch a video of Marie Aude Murail, you definitely should, just to kind of get an idea of her character. The video will be in French, but it's neat to kind of see her personality. My Brother Simple, sometimes known simply as Simple, is a book that Mariah wrote about a 17-year-old boy and his brother who is 22 years old but has the mental capabilities of about a 3.5-year-old. The brother's name is Barnaby, but they only call him Simple. His brother has to find a place for the two of them to live so that his brother will not have to go back to an institution to live. The rabbit on the cover is because Barnaby has, or Simple has, a rabbit, a toy rabbit that comes to life and talks to him in his mind. A movie has been made from this book, and it's a really interesting book. I was only able to read a preview of it, but that's available on Google Books. Jesus as a novel was something that Mariah was commissioned to write. She wrote it while her mother was dying, and she said it was a beautiful thing to write, and she's not sure that she could have written anything else at that time. I put some of the quotes that she said while she was, or about her writing of that novel. Um, but she really wanted to make the novel come to life and to make it seem very realistic for children. She wrote the story and then rewrote it because she wanted to get it just right. She wrote it in the first person, also because she wanted to make it seem like it was a personal story. I found it interesting to look up the different covers of the book for different countries and to see the difference there. So that's what's over on the right. These quotes are taken directly from the IBI France author profile that is linked in the sources at the end of the presentation. Miss Charity pays tribute to Jane Austen, as it is the tale of an English girl in the 19th century who has become bored with the societal expectations and sexist limitations put upon her. She finds solace in Shakespeare, art, science, make-believe, and in spending time in the company of the household servants. Savory Feast translates to Savior and Son. It is a book about a psychiatrist who gets to learn about all the town's issues. Sounds really interesting, and I really hope this one gets translated into English. The book cover here, of course, is number 6 in this series of books about the same topic. Les Visiteurs des Menus translates to The Midnight Visitor. It's about a rich man whose granddaughter becomes very ill. The man then calls on the devil to trade his granddaughter's health for that of the gardener's son, who is in good health. It's supposed to have a happy ending, so it would be interesting to read and to see how that comes about. Oh Boy is Marie Aude Murail's most sold and most translated book. Oddly, it is also her most censored book. It's a book about 3 brothers who become orphaned after their mother commits suicide. They just want to stay together, and this is their journey to figure out where to go and what it looks like for them to do that. The book has themes of death, violence, cancer, and homosexuality, but reviewers of the book have said that those are all presented in a way that doesn't get the reader down. The reader is able to enjoy the book and to laugh and to have fun with it. This book is studied in French schools, but has been censored in some French schools as well, so I guess it just kind of depends on the school. It's been adapted into a French television show. I have a picture of that on the next slide. And it has been adapted into a Broadway musical here in the States. This is the film that Oh Boy has been translated into. The title of this is You Don't Choose Your Parents. Many of Marie's books have been adapted for film or for television. This is translates to The History of Saturday, and it's a public television program in which they take popular novels and books and plays and poems and things, and then they make shows out of them. So one of Marie's books was chosen for this. And that book was Babysitter Blues, which is written about a boy who wants a VCR, so he signs himself up to babysit. Thankfully, he is really good at storytelling, which mostly keeps the little ones entertained. Marie is also credited with writing for this film, The Malabar Princess. It's similar to the story of Heidi in the book Heidi, but in this case, it's a little boy that's left with his father-in-law near the mountain where his mother died. There is a lot more I could say about Marie Aude Murail's accomplishments. I hope that I have done her work justice in this short presentation of just a few of her works. Because I've been asked to consider what may be some of her weaknesses as an author, I'll state two. Both, however, may be considered more as weaknesses in the readers versus the author. The first is that Murail doesn't fit any mold. Readers don't always know what they're going to get when she releases a new book. This could deter readers from her work. The other possible weakness would be that she does write about more mature topics in her books, and this could deter many adults from allowing their children to read her work. I wanted to end with some of the quotes that I found particularly interesting by Marie Aude Murail. Here are my sources. I hope that you'll explore some of them further and learn even more about Murail.